And that's all they did, actually. But they were ready to use their Air Force if requested. We managed to get the message back to them that the king doesn't want you to go in on the ground, and we don't want you to, but mobilization's fine. Don't do anything until we say to. That is, get ready to act if necessary, but don't do anything. And as you probably know, this was a dramatic moment. King Hussein used his own Air Force, and Hafez al-Assad stood down the Syrian Air Force. He knew that the Israelis might go into action if the Syrian Air Force acted.
أنا لا أدري إذا كان هو فقط العامل اللي كان مؤثر على موقف حافظ الأسد هو عامل له علاقة.
I'm not sure what the determining factor was for Assad. Was it his relationship with the Jordanian regime? Was it internal power struggle within Syria? Or did it have anything to do with the threats he was getting from the Americans and the Israelis not to intervene? He was aware of all of this, and he may have used the circumstances to his advantage, because shortly afterwards he mounted a coup d'etat and came to power.
Assad's position at this time would be a precursor to his future split with Yasser Arafat. The Palestinians were now on the run. An Arab League delegation headed by Sudanese President Jafar Nimeri and including Kuwait's Defense Minister Sheikh Saad Abdullah al-Sabah arrived in the Jordanian capital and managed to whisk a besieged Yasser Arafat out to Cairo.
هنا جاءت اللجنة العربية.
The Arab delegation came to Amman. They dressed Arafat in Kuwaiti robes and smuggled him out. Sheikh Saad was a hero.
On September 27, 1970, Nasser brokered a ceasefire agreement which was signed by Arafat and King Hussein. The following day, Nasser died, leaving the Palestinians without their benefactor. Arafat and Hussein signed a further agreement regulating the presence of Palestinian fighters in Jordan. But some Palestinians refused to accept the deal. The agreement collapsed, and in July 1971, King Hussein continued his attack. The Jordanian army overran the remaining PLO bases and positions, forcing the Palestinians to capitulate. Some Palestinian fighters chose to give themselves up to Israeli forces across the River Jordan rather than surrender to what they viewed as a grim fate at the hands of the Jordanians. Henceforth, the Palestinians would term the events that led to their expulsion from Jordan as Black September. The PLO had held sway over large areas of Jordan. Now it was transformed into a broken movement in search of a sanctuary. One of Fatah's leaders, Salah Khalaf, otherwise known as Abu Iyad, was determined that the PLO remain a force to be reckoned with despite the defeat in Jordan.
فقال أنتم أمام مهمة صعبة للغاية.
Abu Iyad gathered a group of us and said, "You have to prove to the world that the revolution has survived. We must show the world the long arm of the revolution."
Abu Iyad announced the birth of a new group, which came to be known as the Black September Organization, taking its name from the conflict with Jordan. In November 1971, at an Arab Defense Ministers' Council in Cairo, Black September struck its first blow. The target was this man, Jordanian Prime Minister Wasfi al-Tal, whom Palestinians accused of responsibility for their expulsion from Jordan.
Our group decided to assassinate Wasfi al-Tal by any means possible. There were 4 of us in the hit team. I was under the command of Abu Iyad and Abu Hassan Salam. They ordered us to go to Egypt. It was Sunday, November 28, 1971. 3 of us waited for Wasfi al-Tal in the lobby of the Cairo Sheraton. As soon as he entered the hotel, we opened fire on him. We shot him 14 times. Then we gave ourselves up. That was the plan. We were to kill him and then go to trial to gain media exposure.
The role that Yasser Arafat played in forming Black September and planning its operations has always been open to conjecture. Today, AlJazeera can finally reveal the truth.
كان أبو عمار مطلعاً على كل شيء.
Arafat knew everything. He wasn't a guitar player. He was the leader of the revolution.
لما كان يشتغل الأخ أبو إياد لا بتفاهم مع الأخ أبو عمار.
Abu Iyad used to act in concert with Arafat. When we were preparing for an operation in Jordan, Arafat came to our camp but didn't meet with us. Then Abu Iyad came by helicopter and met with us while Arafat was in another room in the camp. He didn't want to meet with us, but later on he did visit us.
The assassination of Tel was just the opening shot of the Black September organization. A more dramatic operation was carried out the following year at an event chosen by the Palestinians because they knew the whole world would be watching. At the 1972 Munich Olympics, Black September operatives infiltrated the Olympic Village, killing 2 Israeli athletes and seizing another 11 as hostages. The kidnappers demanded a prisoner swap and a plane to fly them out of West Germany. Holding the hostages at gunpoint, the kidnappers were transported by bus to an airbase and then flown by helicopter to an airfield where 2 of them were shot dead by German snipers when they went to inspect the aircraft. German authorities claim another of the kidnappers then lobbed a hand grenade into the helicopter, killing all of the Israeli hostages. To this day, one of the principal planners of the operation remains unrepentant.
كلهم ضباط جيش، احنا قتلنا ضباط جيش بملابس رياضية.
The hostages were all army officers. We killed only army officers who were dressed in sports tracksuits. The Israelis kill unarmed civilians. We did not murder children or unarmed civilians, but 2 months before Munich, the Israelis bombed a school, killing children. So the world must have a more balanced outlook.
Further acts of violence ensued, grabbing the world headlines. In March of 1973, Black September gunmen stormed a diplomatic reception at the Saudi Arabian embassy in Khartoum. A siege ensued, which ended when the gunmen executed the American ambassador to Sudan, his deputy, and the Belgian chargé d'affaires. A declassified US State Department cable stated the operation was carried out with the full knowledge and authority of Yasser Arafat. The report also stated,
"One of the primary goals of the operation was to strike at the United States because of its efforts to achieve a Middle East peace settlement, which many Arabs believe would be inimical to Palestinian interests."
By the end of 1973, the PLO leaders had decided that the Black September organization had